to swap with Kay Turner.
Well, it seems like we've really got our work cut out for us today. Before we start, I would like everybody in the chambers who believes in democracy and the right of the people's vote to stand up, please. You better. If you don't want a free America, then you just go right down the blind path this council is leading you, along with the city water board. Now, let's reason together. I have here the petition that we had to get over 70,000 signatures that the Constitution allowed us to do to even put Applewhite on the ballot. You should have to do the same thing, people, if you support it that strongly. Second, let's review what the petition told the City Council and Water Board to do. Abandoning the Applewhite Reservoir Project because it will not serve a public purpose, and declaring that no public funds will be authorized for said project. The City Council hereby authorizes and instructs the Waterworks Board of Trustees or permit transferee to take all action necessary to, keyword, abandon the Applewhite Reservoir Project. Now, let's look at the ordinance that we have today. This ordinance says that an ordinance was put up to an election as it was then planned, an alternate source for drinking water. And whereas after that vote, the city pledged that future use and development of the Applewhite site would be subject to voter approval. That wasn't on the ballot, folks. And whereas a plan that has been developed and approved, keyword here being approved, show me a permit that says we'll be using Applewhite for swaps. I challenge you to show me that permit, because the next trick you pull is, well, we voted on it the old way, and gee whiz, now we're going to listen to the vote of the people, and we won't be able to change it, because none of you have done your due diligence. You didn't stop the Applewhite. You went on condemning land. You went on with construction. You went on with legal fees. Why didn't you just go re-permit it so you wouldn't be telling a lie now? You certainly didn't listen to the vote of the people the first time. And all we ever wanted was science and technology to the table. And for someone to say, what's that? And that we haven't been trying to educate all these many years hasn't been keeping up with the issue. You know, what's penicillin? What's it like having a man on the moon? Do you realize that in old San Antonio there was a fight once to fill in the San Antonio River? Where would we be if that had happened? But there's a mentality alive and well in this town that uses scare tactics, and I guess the only thing anyone's afraid of is that science and technology will fix the problem, and these reservoirs that are old-fashioned ways of fixing this problem but still on the table won't work. We cannot vote on something you don't have the right to sell. You do not have a permit saying what you say is true. There was going to be baseball in the dome. There was going to be no addition to the convention center if we build the dome. You guys don't have the truth in you, and it's getting pretty disgusting. And if you don't think the people are going to rise up in August and defeat a project that has nothing to do with water, only special interest, and let me tell you, I have both tags on. Because as I talk to people on a one-on-one out here, we're all on the same side. We have a gift from God, the Edwards Aquifer, with a minimum storage tank of 25 million acre feet, possibly over 200 million acre feet. Are you the people going to let this council hustle you out of the best thing San Antonio has going for it? Are you going to let them lie to you about the science? Are you going to let them take San Antonio backwards? We have, 3 years ago, 28% of our people living below the poverty level in this town. But we've got tons of party projects going, most of them with scandals surrounding them. I am very upset with each and every one of you, and I'm glad Jack Willamy isn't here today, Helen, so your conflict of interest wouldn't be so obvious.
You have something to say to me, Mrs. Turner?
It's important, Helen, that everyone notice.
Do not address the council like that, or I'll have you removed. That was a...
Oh, really, Nelson?
You bet I will.
Who's the boss here, Nelson?
Let's
stay on the subject. I apologize, Helen.
All right.
Now, let's talk about the people and their vote. I consider what you're doing out of order and an insult to the people, Nelson, and council members who vote for this project, and we're your boss.
You're going to get your fight.
We're your boss. This is people power. All of us in this chamber today need a review of the ethics and the integrity of every person running for office. At this rate, our future children will have nothing left to build on, because with your leadership today, most of our town is in a pretty sad state of affairs. I want to protect jobs, and I want to protect San Antonio with science, with technology, with no more rip-off projects till we get ourselves straight in this town. And it starts with respecting the vote of the people. If we build every surface water project that the Texas Water Development Board wants to build, starting with Applewhite, we're still out of water, so don't try and kid us. We're going to have to go back to the aquifer and agua. I agree with them too. But why protect the quality of the water in the aquifer if we can't use it? Do I have some time?
Who's that?
I get 3.
What was the name?
Joanne Wilkins.
Joanne Wilkins. Okay, go ahead.
Now, for the life of me, because you all got elected in the democratic process, why you continue to ignore science, why you allowed the San Antonio water systems to go to Midland and not defend, is beyond me. They did not defend against the bad water line. They did not present a credible case on augmentation. And how can the judge rule on something he never even saw? And the nerve of the proponents of Applewhite to come and tell us Kelly's going to be closed.
There are 60 people here that want an opportunity to talk. I don't even, this lady that jumped up.
Excuse me, Nelson, I have 3 minutes.
I don't even have her name on here.
She signed at the front.
Who?
You have 2 different things, and if people didn't see it, it's
Citizens to be
confusing.
heard.
Nelson, if you don't want to hear what I have to say, just shoo me away, okay?
There's 60 people that want to talk. You have no more right to talk than the rest of them.
I have 3 minutes from someone, and you're interrupting and wasting
signed
them.
Up. What is your name? What's her name? Normally?
Do my 3 minutes start now, or do we count the interruptions?
2 minutes a deal. You've been up here for half an hour. Go ahead and talk. Well, I didn't get his name, though. What was his name?
If you don't think that it's going to be a long, hot, and arduous summer, you are wrong.
You bet it is, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Are we starting now, Nelson, or are you mumbling?
I'm trying to get this guy's name that gave
well,
up
when you
time.
quit mumbling, my time starts.
Nobling? All right, go ahead.
Now, we have evidence here from the Scientific American that the only way to control the water cycle is to draw down underground reservoirs and fill back up in plenty. People who want to protect your jobs, believe me, we've done our homework. Believe me, we wouldn't have been in the streets to get this to the ballot if we knew it was good for you. It's based on science and technology is where we want to lead you, but we can't get this mud hole off of the plate. And let me ask you again, and this is very important, how can these people sell you something they don't own? Have you ever tried to buy a car that was stolen? Have you ever bought a house whose title wasn't clear? Well, this title, this permit is not clear, people. But I can see it now. Oh, the people have voted and now it stands. Like hell it does. And we're going to be looking into a lawsuit to see if you can put something on the ballot and call it something else, because that's fraud. Fraud. Got a bunch of Pinocchios up here. Some of the science that we've introduced goes back a ways and has helped save California, like drawing down in drought, filling back up in plenty. And someone says, oh, when was that? I go, well, this article happens to be 1978. And the answer was, oh. And I go, well, excuse me, wasn't penicillin invented a long time ago? And isn't it still working? People, you've got to wake up. You are being hustled. You are being conned. And I'm saying that because this is exhausting. When you have tons of water in your aquifer and they're trying to put it off limits by government fiat, they are picking your pocket. They are stealing your future. And by the way, new plan. I see no new plan as part of this ordinance. Only the old Applewhite with some verbiage that says it's approved, which it's not. And like we gave the council a choice in the first vote to promise they won't make it for drinking water, we didn't give you that right. We said to abandon it.
Time's up unless someone else
Abandon it, and abandon it you should. And the people have spoken, and one vote would have been enough to elect any of you. $1 million was spent to buy that election, and $5,000 beat it.
Philip Ross.
Change really